Hello? Hello? Is anyone there? Hello, guys. Okay, cool. Sometimes it goes really quiet, so let me know. Let me know if it does. But welcome in. My hair's a little crazy. Happy Friday, you guys. Hope everyone's having a good day. Ugh. Yes. So we are here. Today has been so interesting. It's been raining, so it's been nice out. But this is my first day not smoking any flower weed. I have my little pen. But after this pen, I'm going to do like a little break and see if it helps my joints any. To be fair, I don't know if it is hurting my joints, but I also find that I don't need it more. The less pain I'm in, the less I need. So, this is nice. Little Spudgy's down there sleeping. But I hope everyone's having a good Friday. I'm going to be posting this on YouTube today. I didn't post the last ones because it was more of like a welcome back and like whatever. But we'll start talking about the things that I've been wanting to talk about with you guys. And then tomorrow morning, if I wake up on time, if not, it'll be Sunday morning. But we'll have a fun podcast. Really, yeah, it's going to be different. So, yeah, I'm excited for it because I don't know, it's a little different. It's not too much different, but it's more entertaining and it's fun. It's going to be fun. I hope. Maybe I'm convincing myself, but I think it will be fun. I think knowledge is fun, so I guess we'll see. We'll see who thinks it is fun and is not, but I was going to be on TikTok today, but honestly, I'm just a little worn out from people. People are exhausting, and it's been a long week, so hence why I didn't do my makeup really. I just slapped on some lipstick, some little shiny on my nose, and that's it. I don't know who's in here. I don't have something that tells me. There is something, like a widget, but I don't have it on my screen, and also it distracts me. Like, I don't know how to describe it. When, like, when people, like, drop or when it gains, like, I lose track of what I'm talking about because I'm like, looking at the number and stuff, but if there's people watching, I hope you guys had a good Friday. Hope you're hydrating and eating. I have a beer waiting for me for dinner. A beer and some cheese and sausage. So that's how I'm spending my Friday night. But today was pretty relaxing for myself. This week has been more focused on just keeping my energy right. My joints are getting better and better, and that's kind of what we'll talk about. It's like a theory that is so in depth that we'll have to take a few episodes to talk about this. But it's stuff I've been learning while I've been on my little sabbatical or whatever you want to call it, my little break. So it does have to do with health, but I'm happy that my joints are getting better. And that's where, like, I don't feel like I need to smoke as much. So today was, like, a little different. It gives me, like, I have, like, really bad ADHD to where, like, I have, like, this buzz in my body. Like, it's so strong. And when you're, like, bedridden, how do you, like, usually, like, physical activity, weightlifting, dancing, riding my motorcycle helps get that out. Sometimes driving in my car, like, going for a drive helps, but it's too strong, so it's like I need more than that. Like, weightlifting would be really nice if I could do that right now, but I just been working on my abs, my core. I need to strengthen my core. It looks like we're dropping frames, so if we're lagging, sorry, but the biggest thing is re-strengthening my core, my back, my buns, my hips, since I've been bedridden, because I've been mainly just laying down on my back the whole time. So I just recently was able to start laying on my left side, which is the side that's really hurt. But pretty much my theory has to do with my health. So if you guys want to hear about that, stay tuned because we're going to talk about that. But it correlates to people who are also chronically ill, okay? And it's about, like, this whole system thing that the government, the world has going on, because it's global. Let's be honest. Like, capitalism is pretty global. I guess, like, maybe Amazon tribes, they don't really have, like, these issues, right? But which makes me sad. I don't know if you guys have seen videos of, like, their, like, local tribes being introduced to, like, candy and stuff like that. I hate those videos. It makes me really sad. But they don't really know about these issues, which is lovely. Like, you know, in a way, I guess. Like, I guess they don't have, like, modern medicine or whatever, but who's to say that's not worse or better? I really don't think it's any better than what they've got going on spiritually and just knowing wise. But what I've been dealing with, so if you aren't familiar with what I have like severe rheumatoid. I don't know why I say it like that. Like I do. It just is. Like I have severe rheumatoid arthritis. I try to soften the blow because when I say severe, I think people think I want to be special, but it's just that I don't think that makes me special. As a matter of fact, there's tons of other things that I think actually do make me special, not that. So people always get a little weirded out when I say it's really severe, as if like I'm exaggerating, but I'm not. Severe is like an understatement, honestly. But I've had it since I was a kid. I was really sick as a kid, in and out of the hospital every year. So, and for like months at a time. And I wasn't diagnosed till I was like 14. And then on top of that, I'm just not very reactive to medicine. So I've been diving into holistic stuff lately. And that's been like the last 2 years while this thing has been going on. And I've been talking to the doctors through it all. You know, they think I'm really fucking crazy, but I don't give a shit. But I've been telling them, like, listen, I've been through a lot of abuse as a kid. Like, I went through a lot of trauma and stuff like that. And I was like the parentified child, so I had to raise my brothers and pretty much my father and take care of the house, even if there was like a stepmom in the picture, take care of cooking and stuff like that. It was really a lot. And I didn't really take that in as a kid. That was just kind of what was needed to survive. So you don't really register it as a kid, right? But for me, now as an adult, I'm registering it on a different level. And it's like the whole circle of it is that this trauma and abuse creates like a tension in the body. We have fascia that like runs through our whole body, and it's supposed to glide across our body. And sometimes when our fascia is stuck because of like trauma, it doesn't glide and it makes things stiff. So like the best way I could describe it is like my chest, like this whole rib cage, okay. Anyway, my whole rib cage, it was really stiff because I've been through a lot, and it felt like I had to always brace. So I was always holding my arms like tense, like not like that, but like my shoulders were always tense, and I never knew why. You know, I didn't really like, I wasn't really figuring out that like I was holding myself like this. And even then when I figured out, oh, okay, I was doing this, then I dropped my shoulders, okay. And then I realized I'm still like squeezing my biceps without even realizing it. I'm squeezing my chest without even realizing it. Like I'm bracing for someone to punch me essentially in the chest. And I realized that over like the last month. Hello Z, welcome back. Hope you had a good day. But I realized over the last month while doing deep breathing, it really helped me like connect myself, as woo woo as it sounds. But it made me realize like, oh, holy shit, my chest is like really tight. Like what the hell? And it's because I get a lot of anxiety. I've had a lot of anxiety with my illness kicking in. This has been my biggest fear, where like I don't have like family to help. I don't have, because before when my grandma was alive, they would help me every so often, which was really nice. But since my grandma's passed, I don't really get help as often. And not to say that it was a lot when I got help, because they looked at me like something was wrong with me when I asked for help, as if like they did raise me. They knew exactly what my illness was and how bad it got, because they were there when I was hospitalized and everything, taking me in. So it made me a little resentful of them, because they treated me like a grandkid while I saw them as parents, because they raised me more than my father did. And my father's like my brother to me, like an older brother. Like he used to borrow money from me as a kid. My father would. But through that, like, you know, I really tightened up everything, because the illness that I have is so fluctuating. One day, like, my knees can be swollen, and then the next week the swelling is down. And then all of a sudden, both ankles are swollen. And then those are down. And then, okay, my elbow and my hip are swollen. Like, and my hip's been giving me issues for the last 2 years to where I'm bedridden, you know? And I knew that everything I was dealing with was, I don't want to say psychosomatic, there's a word for it, but like more like in here. And it's affecting here, you know? Yeah, it's all been good. I hope your day has been good. It's been well. It's been a nice, relaxing day. So trying not to be frustrated about a few things. I'm trying to manifest and do things differently this month. So I'm really trusting the universe right now, and it does make me anxious. But I'm trying not to let that make my day bad. I'm trying not to be reactive to what I don't want, right? So it's been a little bit of a weird day, but it's been a good day. It's raining. I have a beer waiting for me for after my stream, and I'm really excited for that. And I drink like a couple beers once a month. I don't know why. I just don't crave it except for like once a month. And yeah, I don't know what that is, but it really helps me put a weight off my body for the month. I'm not too sure how to describe it. But I've been talking with my doctors off and on about this. They think I'm fucking nuts. But my hip is infected, my left hip. And garlic has really helped me. So I've been doing like the holistic thing for the longest time, trying to figure out what's going on. And the one thing that I wasn't doing was like, I was meditating, but I really wasn't aware of what deep breathing did. And truth be told, I thought what I was doing was deep breathing because everything was so tight right here, right? And so, ow, my shoulder is like really bad right now. So everything was really tight. And so, like, when I breathed in, it was just like from here up. And that was my breath out. As opposed to like when I breathe through my belly and like into my womb area, into my hips and everything, that feels different. And when I started doing that, I actually started noticing like tingling in my hip. And granted, I've been bedridden. I don't think this is like magic or anything. I just think it's getting circulation going. And when you're tightened up, like when you're stressed out, you tense the muscles in certain areas more than others because they're reactive to stress and stuff. And that's your psoas. We talked a little bit about this. I told you guys I would be talking about this, so this is what it is. But the psoas is like this muscle that attaches from here and runs down into your hip through the internal, like inside your stomach. It's hard to like get it rolled out, and it rolls down the top of your thigh and to the sides and everything. Like it connects everything. So for me, I was like, okay, like I'm not even breathing right. Like I'm literally breathing out of my collarbones, like just like out here. That would be my breath. And like when I would meditate, it would just be breaths like that. Like I would breathe in. And I can breathe in for a long time out of my shoulders. Like, you know, if you give it a try, like you can try breathing through your shoulders. And I found this TikTok and this lady was like, breathe out of your chest if you have anxiety. And I was like, okay, let me try that. And like, you can actually do that. Like, it sounds funny, but like take a deep breath in and just focus on your chest and like breathing out from there. And like, it releases like attention. At least it does for me. And so that got me onto the breath work a little bit more. And then recently I realized like, oh my God, I'm not even breathing like deep. Like, you know, when you catch that one good breath and it just feels real good, I was not able to do that. It took like 7 deep inhales to get that one good breath. So that said to me that psoas that is really inside there, it's on both sides. It's really tight. And that is from trauma, that's from anxiety, that's from stress. And with it's like a weird ping pong thing that happens. Like I'm stressed because my body is sick and it's impacting my finances, which makes me stress even more and makes my body more sick. So that's where I was like, I just can't keep up with this. It's not sustainable to me. Like the jumping off the cliff thoughts are happening more because I'm not getting better physically. You know, I don't want to live my life this way. So it's like, okay, I got to figure out something because I don't want to die. Like I want to live my life. I love my life. And when it's good, I love what's going on. Even now, like I love my life. I wish I could just walk. I wish, like, even though my shoulder hurts, like, if I could walk, things are easier. Like, I've had this elbow was bad, so, like, I used this arm for the whole time, and now I'm ambidextrous. Because for a while, I wasn't able to use my whole right arm, which was my dominant arm for the longest time. So, when it's upper extremities, I can adapt. But, you know, through my life, I've been through so much trauma. And you don't even have to be through a lot of trauma. It can be like, so we talked a little bit about yelling last time. Like, I grew up in a military family, so yelling was never a sign of danger. The only times I really was in danger, I was never really hit except for my stepmom. So The danger feeling was different with my father because he would drink and drive with us, and that was different, scary. But other than that, it was more like I had to be hyper vigilant. I had to take care of things and cook for my younger brothers who were babies and a newborn and clean and figure out how to make money because they weren't doing it. And I didn't know what was going to happen. So I just stepped up to the plate without question. And that was like 6 years old when I started doing that, which is crazy. And that's when my illness started acting up. That's actually when I was hospitalized first for my autoimmune shit because I stopped eating and my dad thought I was anorexic. Which at 6 years old, I don't know if you can be anorexic, but I give him credit for like, he knew something was wrong and he took me to the hospital. Like, correct mindset, correct thought process, and correct action. So I wasn't mad about that. And I don't hold any resentment towards it or anything. But now knowing that my body is still holding on to what like I went through as a kid, that's where the deep breathing comes in. Maybe you had to walk on eggshells, so that's like, you're being very quiet and the slightest sound you're like, hold on. And hell yeah, after stream beers, yeah, I don't think I've ever tried to breathe that deep into my body. I don't even know the last time I tried that either. There's the times when you catch that good breath, you know what I mean? But other than that, I never purposely did that for myself. And that's the one thing that I've been changing that has really been making a significant improvement in things. Like I've been seeing a faster improvement with my joints this week than I have with a lot of things. And I'm learning that cortisol plays into this. So the things that I've been learning with my body, I had a lot of questions, and I'm sorry if this skips around a lot, ADHD, but I've always wondered how the government, this is conspiracy, this is where we get to conspiracy, which is what I like about this, because I just turn inward and learn about myself, and it helps me connect this shit that goes on in the outer world. But I've always wondered how they control people so well. And it really just does take that, implementing that fear, and it lives in your body like for a long time. So then you start acting out on that because of that's the pattern that your body knows. And the government has like all these psychologists and stuff working for them, so they obviously know this. And then they have media catering to the heightening of hijacking of your system. And cortisol is that stress hormone that happens when we're stressed from work or anything, right? And that's why like you see a lot of people who are stressed, like their body gets sick. Puffy face, puffy eyes, cortisol. And it gives you the same effects pretty much that prednisone. Angry, irritable, you forget things, lose track of things a lot, like clumsy. Like when I was on prednisone, it spiked my cortisol and it made my joints hurt. And I tried telling my doctor that, and he's like, that's telling me there's no inflammation. And I was like, no, I don't think that's right. I think there is inflammation. I think it's making the inflammation worse. And back then I thought it was because it's messing with my gut microbiome, which it does. It allows candida to grow, and I'm to grow even more. And I have a lot of I have more candida in my body, I feel like, than most people, or like it wants to grow more. It's like more overactive than other people's, I feel like. So I thought for the longest time it was candida, and while it is a contribution to it, they did do right, exactly. Tinfoil hat time. I'll get my snacks. Yes, get your snacks and your drinkies, whatever that looks like. But yeah, I for the longest time was like, how are there so many people under this spell? Like, what are they doing? How did they know this? How did they get to this point of being able to control people? But like I said, I took prednisone, and what that is artificial, like, cortisol, like adrenal gland stimulation, which is essentially cortisol. And that's your stress hormone. And good boy, Shudder, you can lay here. Yeah, you can lay on there. Yeah, go ahead. I know, it's small. I bought the wrong size bed for him. As you can see. Yes, I love you, Spitchy. So when I would be on prednisone, this thing that jacks up my cortisol. Moon face would happen. I would get bloated, even if I was eating healthy. Hella cravings. Like I said, clumsy, brain fog, and to the point where like it's not just forgetfulness. It's like I wouldn't even remember what I was saying like 3 seconds ago. And while I do that because my ADHD, it was like everything I said. I couldn't remember shit. And then on top of that, I got irritable real fast. I got really, really angry real fast. And like, I don't get angry, but like the dog's doing anything, like barking, trying to like get my attention, it would bother me because I'm already overstimulated. What Chinese medicine says is like you're too hot, like you have too much heat in your body. So you're inflamed, too much dampness, too much heat. So it's creating that inflammation and swelling, which is what I had. Poor guy. um, and so when I got off of it, like fast food tastes like shit. In-N-Out does not taste good. Like I get In-N-Out once every like 2 weeks for like anemic things. I think it just like really helps my anemia. But other than that, I don't really care for meat or anything. I'm like more vegetarian now leaning than anything. I'll eat steak and like a burger around my period, but that's it. And I don't really like force myself that way. It just kind of falls in line naturally like that. So is what it is. I don't really care. But when I would get off this prednisone that jacks up my cortisol, I'm like, everything tastes like shit. I don't want my coffee. I don't want any sugar. I don't want any fast food. It's not that I don't even want it. When I eat it, it does not taste the same. And so I thought that was like really interesting. And then I started connecting the dots of like the cortisol and everything. And going back to being younger, my cortisol got spiked when I was going through these traumatic experiences. So that automatically triggered the swelling and stuff in my autoimmune illness, right? And when I was younger, my father divorced my mother. She was not a really good lady. So he didn't really know too much about her illness. If we would have been with her longer, I think we would have known. But I would rather take my situation that happened than being with her any longer than we were. She was pretty not good for... I don't think she should have had children. Like, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad my dad raised me and everything, but she's not the good parent kind. You know what I mean? So at that time when I was around 6 years old, cortisol really spiked. Around that time, we'd officially moved from Hawaii to Arizona. I was dealing with a lot of abuse from my mother and stuff. And then we moved to Arizona for things. And then we ended up moving to Montana. And then my dad fell into a drinking hole because he had just gotten out of the military. And, he had his own shit to deal with. And my stepmom and him would drink a lot and leave, things up to chance. And I don't know what kicked on in my brain, but at that young age, I didn't want chance to happen because we were hungry, and nobody was there to make food. And I remembered how to eat or how to make food, and I watched Food Network a lot. That was like my special interest as a kid. It still is. I love Food Network shows, one of my favorites. So, and that's a big way of how I learned how to cook, and my grandmother, watching my grandmother. But at that young age, that's when things started kicking on for me. They prescribed me heavy doses of prednisone, and I was really lenient on it through the years. And as I got older, I realized it wasn't doing that good for me. And I really wondered why, and I thought maybe it was my tolerance, but I think I was just so inflamed with, like, cortisol pumped through me, And that's what everything does, essentially, in this world, is it's driven and mechanized to boost that cortisol in your body. And so explaining like TikTok algorithm wise, this applies to any algorithm. This applies to TV shows in just like one show and stuff. There's a reason why there's climaxes and things like that, and it's because it's creating that effect that, and that becomes addictive to your body. Your body wants the relief of the high. So really sad point, really sad video, boom, hilarious video next. And it just hijacks that cortisol, hijacks like the way your brain operates and wires. And for me, that's why I say I'm very like strict on how I have my media. Like once it starts getting to that in my algorithm, then I shut off my media and go do something else. Or I don't really watch much in the way of TV anymore. I have Bob's Burgers and King of the Hill rotating all the time. But other than that, like if it's like a food show or history, how it's made, anything about quantum physics or energy, I'll watch it, like informational. But I'm very hyper aware of like the what they're doing to the brain chemistry within movies, within shows, and all the excitement and stuff, which it doesn't make it bad or anything, but when you step away from it, it literally is no longer appealing, much like the candy and stuff like that. It's like you can't eat as much of it and it just doesn't have the same hit to it, you know? Like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm at the point where I'm like, I think I'm gonna make sweet potato brownies instead of regular brownies because I can't handle how sweet regular brownies are. And so I don't like the taste of flour too much when you don't have enough sugar in the brownies. You can taste the flour. I fucking hate that. It's disgusting. So I know. I love how it's made too. If do you like Unwrapped? Cause that's like how it's made, but food version. If you like cooking stuff. Unwrapped was my favorite as a kid. But yeah, so that's how I was like, okay, there's something to this. I've always been a big conspiracy person. And you know, they say conspiracy is just it's conspiracy because you don't know how it works. And I think that's true. I talk a lot about theories and stuff, and it's just things that I don't know if they are true yet, and this is how I believe it, you know? Joe, how are you doing today? I hope you're doing well, my friend. Is it like wintertime where you're at? You haven't seen Unwrapped? It might be boring. It might be boring to you because, granted, it was like an older show. Um, but oh, it is. Burr. um, we're getting rain over here. It's monsoon season. Chilling to heading to the beach at the moment. Oh hell yeah! Is the weather warm enough to go swimming in the beach? California beaches are never warm. Like that's why I don't like the beach because I've never swam in a beach that I can remember that was warm. When I was younger in Hawaii, we swam in the beach, but I don't remember it being warm or cold. I also don't like seaweed. It's such an overstimulating experience for me. I fucking hate it all. Which is so funny because I'm a Cancer, a water sign, and I was born in Hawaii. I like the desert. I like it. I like desert and forest. 50s, so sun kinda. Ooh, okay. Yeah, when the sun's out, that's a good weather, in my opinion. I'm a little cold boned. I get cold real easy. I don't like extreme weathers at this point. I'm getting old. But yeah, so welcome in, Joe. Hope your week is going well. We're talking about what I've learned over the last few months since I've been gone and conspiracy theory with the government. But we're talking about the prednisone and how it jacked up my cortisol. There's so many things that I've come to the conclusion with this. It's not even just cortisol based. There's so much. So this is going to be something we probably talk about for the next month. Also, don't forget, if you would like to donate, I'm running a GoFundMe for my debt free. I haven't paid rent yet either. I don't want to ask for donations for rent anymore. So I'm just trusting. I'm trying to manifest, you know, that big month for myself. And I'm just believing I have it already and not reacting to the 3D. Because if I had my big month, I wouldn't be like begging for donations, right? And y'all know I really fucking hate that. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But if you want to donate to my GoFundMe to be debt free, that will help a lot. Take bills off my shoulders. So check that out in my link tree if you want. It's a birthday gift, so that's the only thing I want for my birthday. My goal is to have it completed by October when I celebrate. So, but back to the government. Also, did we hear about Putin and Trump? That's a little scary. Anyway, I don't know what the fuck's going on in this world, but let's talk about this cortisol shit. But yeah, so pretty much that prednisone was like the key to me learning this because it really just jumped up my cortisol and it would make me smell really weird. And so then I learned like, oh, okay, that's cortisol, you know, like that's high cortisol. And that's why like people say like actors and like big CEOs really smell bad. And I assume it's that stress hormone that's running through them, the cortisol, high cortisol. And so it makes you smell weird. Sometimes for people, it gives them like, I don't know what kind of smell. BO. I don't know what BO really smells like. For me, it was like a weird, like milky floral smell. I don't know how to describe it. Um, but I could tell it was like cortisol. And then when I would drink coffee, it would make my smell like even worse. And I'm not one, I don't really need to wear deodorant. I've never had to because I got them Asian genes in my body carrying that load, thank God. But I've never had issues with smelling, sweating, so I've never really needed to use deodorant. When I was younger, I wanted to use deodorant because all the kids were, pubescent, and I wasn't yet. I was a late bloomer, and I wanted to use deodorant. So I would use deodorant as a kid because it was fun, but now knowing the toxins in it and stuff, and I just don't need it, so I don't need it. But the time when I was like cycling through my hormones and trying to figure shit out on that prednisone, I realized it would make me smell worse. And same, like I would drink the coffee and that would make me smell even worse. And then things would be like combobulated in my body. And so now that I'm off the prednisone, not drinking coffee regularly, that smell is gone completely. And so that's where it connected to me, like, okay, so it's messes with your hormones. The reason why people have that smell when they have high cortisol is because it's fucking with the hormones. And that also messes with your immunity. So women are more prone to this because they're taught to do a lot of silent lifting for things. And I'm not saying men don't work, but like I'm talking about, let's give holidays for example. A lot of people say holidays don't feel the same without their moms, and it's because moms do a lot of the background work for like, okay, setting up the meal plan, making the meals, knowing what to buy the gifts. A lot of times dads are just like, hey, just write my name on the card, blah blah. My grandfather was like that. My dad wasn't, but my grandfather was. So a lot of women are like conditioned to take on a lot of silent work. And that's why you see like women, acting the way they are now, because we don't want to do that work anymore. And we don't want to live the lives that our mothers and grandmothers hated. So that's why a lot of women you find with autoimmune illnesses, and men can develop them too. And I actually think you will see a rise in the next few years of men developing more autoimmune illnesses, because it's not just a woman thing. It's men and women that the government are targeting. And the target is stress, because stress is derivative from that fear. Like, I'm not going to be able to make rent. Where's money going to come from? Blah, blah. And just trusting that the universe is like going to take care of it is not the way that people really operate. And I'll even admit, like, I'm literally still walking on those stepping stones to learning it. So that's what I've been doing the last 2 years, and it's difficult. It really is. But a lot of people are in this mindset, and this is what the government has manufactured so greatly, and they've targeted, like they've separated it to divisions, men, women, and then when you go men and women, okay, next let's go to ethnic divisions, and then next religious divisions. So they've got, like, if you made a tree out of that, how many ways just from that, and there's so much more than that, how many ways just from those, like, that they control you, and that's where, like, back to the breathing, when I started learning how to deep breathe, because once again, like, I thought I was deep breathing out of my shoulders, though I didn't realize it was just out of my shoulders, because I could still get a good breath in and not really go into my stomach breathing, and when I started trying to breathe into my stomach, it was literally difficult. Like, I could not, like, it was uncomfortable. Like, it was hard to do that. Like, it was so tight in my stomach that, like, I had the tightest abs, bro. But no, I'm just kidding. But it was literally so tightly wound in there. And that's the muscle that, like, reacts to stress more than anything, is your psoas muscle. So if you leave tonight with anything, tonight I want you to stretch your psoas muscle and breathe belly deep. Breathe into your wiener if you're a guy. If you're a girl, breathe into your vagina, okay? Breathe that deep. Get down into your hips when you breathe. And like I said, like, for me, it took like 7 to 8 breaths like a week ago to try to get that one deep breath, But now I can do it like anytime, and it feels so great, because for a bit I was like, holy shit, I'm scared I can't breathe. Like, what the hell? Dang it, secret to getting shredded. Well, truthfully, okay, so a lot of people have like hello. A lot of people have anterior pelvic tilt. So it's like where our back kind of arches and like a lot of guys will get like a little extended tummy and same with girls. And so I would show you, but I'm not wearing pants. um, so there's a workout that I did that is really easy that strengthens that psoas muscle and helps you form abs without even doing crunches or anything. And it's laying on your back and getting your feet up and your knees are at a 90 degree. So do you know what I mean? Like pretend you're a dead bug essentially. But make sure your knees are directly above your hips, like parallel, directly above, and that your feet are sticking out 90. And that presses, you want to focus on pulling your back to the ground on the bed, wherever you're doing it. And that is actually strengthening that psoas muscle, okay? On the other hand, to stretch it real deep, lay on your stomach and prop up your head as much as you can. Like just sit your head up. You can use your arms. You don't have to use just your neck and chest muscles. Actually, I would recommend using your arms. But you can just like lift your head up and you'll feel the stretch. But lift your legs up. Like when people kick their feet, just that. You don't have to kick your feet, but just lift your leg up like that and hold it there and try to keep your belly pressed to the ground and push up as much as you can. And the leg is what's going to help stretch that psoas more, and then deep breathing. So if you have issues like me, that would be helpful. If you have issues with anger, or like you feel like you have high cortisol. I feel like a lot of guys have high cortisol because, once again, back to the government. I feel like Dale from King of the Hill sometimes when I say this shit, but I've always wondered how they've been able to get men in the military so easy. Like, who the fuck wants to do that? Anyway, I'm like, what the hell are they doing? And what it is they're activating essentially that psoas. They're putting you in fight or flight, but remarketing it as a good thing. The dad bod, they remarket it as a good thing. The dad bod is actually like sluggish liver, high candida growth, things like that. High cortisol. And instead of being like, hey, bros, you need to take better care of your body, dad bods are a sign of these things. Instead, they're like, no, dad bod, hell yeah. And then when you're angry because of high cortisol, when you're short leashed, short temper like that, and everything, you get frustrated easy. That's just being a man. That's what it is. And because they market it that way, that makes you more easy and wanting to go into the military, because you have all this rage inside of you that you're ready to get it out on people. And a lot of people don't understand what it's like to take a life and how traumatizing that is. I've never done it, but my dad has done a lot of healing and has talked to me about terrible stories. But I give him grace in what he's done, because they were merely kids and under like a systematic control, And it all has to do with how you connect with food and healing. And I've always said, like, I love food, and I feel like really America has ruined the sanctity of food, because food is meant to heal. Not just like greens for liver, not just that, but like family wise, connection wise. In Italy and stuff, like they take time to sit down for a 2-hour meal. And that's one thing I really appreciated about my family growing up. I got a meal sitting down at the table with my family. We talked about how our day was and stuff like that. It was good. And it's about the quickness of things now. So okay, let's make the food quick and get cheaper options in there, because sugarcane is too slow, and you gotta wait, blah blah blah. Let's manufacture some corn syrup, and then that's also 10 times sweeter, so it's going to be cheaper, but it's bad for the people. Who cares? It's going to spike their cortisol. Who cares? It's going to give them gut issues. Who cares? It's going to mess with their gut flora and imbalance their candida. Who cares? They don't care, because they get money from it. But that's where, for me, like, I noticed that immediately just coming off the prednisone, and I was like, it made me think of how like Ozempic might be used for drug addiction and stuff. I'm even looking into Ozempic type medicines for my rheumatoid arthritis because of how it calms down that cortisol center, which is why you see a lot of people using Ozempic and losing weight because it's not really about the food. It's about the internal system being stressed out and having that high cortisol lowers your immune system, messes with your gut flora. Because let's not forget that your vagus nerve that's in your brain is in your stomach. So your stomach is like your second brain. And once again, they hijack your body through the food we eat, which is why America is so sick. And, a lot of people don't like me doing the things there's going to be trolls never liking what I do anyway. But, that's where for me, like, I think if I can relay this information to people properly, it will make them want to heal because it's not like there's anything wrong with you. It's just that the system is really embedded in us deep. Like we were growing up with like Fun Kellogg's cereal and our parents had that stuff, but it wasn't as abundant. Like I think our millennials anywhere near that were the ones to get like the super saturated marketing and sugars and everything. And so in I've been doing crunches in the 90 angle, so hell yeah. Yeah, honestly, just holding that, like well, to be fair, I was bedridden for like 2 years. Like I spent most of my time in bed, so my back muscles are really weak. Before I was deadlifting my 115 pounds. It's more than my weight. Usually I'm like 110. So I was deadlifting 115, and like I had a really strong lower back, which is important because I really try to like reinforce the muscle around my joints because I'm aware this happens to my body through my life. Um, so it's important for me to have like that extra ness, like extra strength around it because I know, okay, it could be a year or two that I could go down and I need all the muscle added on so when it does atrophy, it's not too terrible. I'm not like sticking bones. But that one, just holding that for a minute a few times, I was sore. I was sore in my abs the next day. It was crazy. I was super short tempered and had to take a step back to put my guard down and just be okay. Like, if someone crossed my friends and family is on, like, don't come, I'm trying to be a better person. You're doing it. You're doing it. Just the thought process alone, you're doing it. So, small steps. And, like, I don't think you were on before, but when I was in my on season last season, um, I was on prednisone and I knew that I was like irritated and I would get frustrated fast and quick tempered because of the prednisone and my joint pain. But I allowed like my stream and stuff to see that because I knew that there was something to it and it wasn't me. It was something with the illness, something with the meds, something. And so I didn't mind showing that part of myself, which is why it's so significant now because it's so different. Like I literally don't give a shit about most things. I'm not even trying to be reactive to my rant at this point. I can't put my body through that stress. Last month when I was very close to hitting that eviction point, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, my body was the few days after I got my rent paid, I was down for the count, and it's just because that stress. It made my joints swell. It made my body feel like it had been hit by a truck. Like seriously, like my whole body was just stiff and in so much pain the next day. And so when they say like you should do, and I've always said this mainly because I have ADHD, but I do believe ADHD is like a key to teaching people to lead by happiness. But I say do things that make you feel good, make you happy. And for a while, I was focusing on the external, like what makes me happy externally. But I didn't realize that, like, okay, stressing out about rent is like, it does not make me happy externally. It actually makes things worse. So, like, don't do that. And that's where, I'm hoping things are different this month. I think they will be. They feel different. So we'll see what happens. But I really do trust things will work out. In my mind, I've done so much manifesting and work on that the last season. I really do feel like I've got it. And yeah, the biggest thing is I just want to make rent without having to ask for donations. I, I don't want to be like, hey, I'm going to be evicted if I don't make rent. Like, I would like to just be able to have that. And I think that will help my healing because like I'm not so stressed about survival and security and stuff like that. But that's exactly where the government gets you. Because like that's what they want, these financial crises. And like if I can manifest what I'm trying to manifest, then this is it. This is the key and the leverage that I can lean on for this new season and teaching you guys how to get out of this fucking pit hole. Because Trump is saying rent prices are going to go up, and I'm pretty sure that doofy ass dude said that they were going to go down when he was like trying to pander to people. I don't listen to him, okay? Fuck if I know. Speaking of, side note story, I ran for student government body president. What? Student government body president as a kid for like 8th grade. This is where I lost faith in politics at a really young age. This kid, fucking Scotty! Fuck you, Scotty, bitch. He was like, I'm gonna get us more field trips. There's gonna be a chocolate milk fountain. And when he said that, I was like, can he even do that? Like, what the fuck? Kudos to him because he understood the name of the game very early on. I was just like, listen, like, I'll get us more field trips. We'll have to fundraise for it. Car washes, blah, blah. Nobody liked that. I was literally just being fucking honest. Hello. And so I lost. And I was like, but he was literally lying. Chocolate, milk, water fountains? He cannot do that. And I was like, what the fuck, brother? Someone should assassinate this dude. Get him out of office. Just kidding. Sounds like you got it regardless of the government trying to get us. Yeah, fuck Scotty. I know. See that kid in the hall, punch him in his butt. He did. Is it? Is it a line from a movie? I grew up Mormon, so there was I could watch something, Mormons and the Baptists or something was a movie that I could watch. And then Jake, and then Fantasia 2000, and that's it. I don't remember what else we could watch, but we couldn't watch very much movies. Like, it was a stretch going and watching the Jimmy Neutron movie. Hey, just long time no chat. It's good to see you. I hope all is well with you, Jake. Thanks for being in here. We're doing great. Yeah, I don't know if that's from a movie, but yeah, he did say that. And I was like, what a fucking twerp. Anyway, that's when I lost faith in the government real easy. And then seeing how they treated the veterans. I remember seeing a homeless veteran for the first time, and I was like, that could be my dad. And it made me cry. And then I learned that the government just likes to abandon people like that. I was like, oh, cool. And, like, they work for us? What? Anyway, fuck the government. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck both sides, okay? I remember seeing an Instagram. Yeah, that was on my other page. Yeah, they wear garments because they believe it protects them. Now, truth be told, anyone can do that. You can buy special underwear, like, that's special to you. Like, it looks a certain way, or it's 100% wool. I don't know who the fuck wants to wear wool underwear, but imagine a wool thong. Ugh. Talk about pulling hairs out of your ass. I'm just kidding. I don't think it's like raw wool like that, but yeah, anyway. I remember politicians suck. Most of the voting population is too dumb to be allowed to vote, right? That's what scares me, because it really does feel like the dumbest people are voting. But yeah, they do wear special garments, and they wear them in the temple and all the time. And it's kind of like the same shit you see with the Bibles, where like a whole house will burn down, but the Bible. And they're like, but God is so good, the Bible didn't burn. And you're like, my whole fucking house though, bro. Yeah, but God is so good, brother. So there's like stories where people will like catch on fire. I don't know if this is true. This is shit they just say in the church. And they're like, yeah, he had no legs. He had no arms, but his torso was there because of the garments. He's a quad amputee at that point. We're still praising God? But hey, to be fair, maybe he's a pedophile. Maybe he deserved that shit. I don't fucking know. I don't know how God works and shit. I believe in God in a different way. Sound like Garmin is fucking, to be honest. I know. Should have honestly been wearing head to toe with that one. I read the whole quote is like, never underestimate the power of stupidity in a horde. It's true. That, like, herd mentality is so scary. I see it that's kind of like one thing that frustrates me online is like I have to stop watching TikToks and shit because like for instance, there was this was going to be a part of tomorrow's stuff, but I'll talk about it tonight briefly. Um Because tomorrow, okay, so the vibe that I want is like, you know, Tosh.0, kind of like that, like a funny talk show in the morning with funny current events that happen in the week and like cool scientific discoveries and funny little things. And then we'll do like a Discord chat, whatever, like on video or whatever. We'll have some music in between. So that's a vibe. But there's a video going around where people are like, oh my God, did you see that lady's grocery haul? And she had like 37 pizzas and like, I don't know, 10 Dr. Peppers or something. And, or I don't know. But it was a 2 week haul, okay? She had like a small bag of grapes and stuff like that. And the things that I noticed in the video was an autistic son, an older teenage son, an older mom, and then the mom. So there's at least 4 people in the house. I guarantee you there's more. I think dad's probably there and father's probably there. So in reality, those pizzas, like let's say the 2 kiddos have them every day for lunch for the next 2 weeks. That's not a terrible thing. Adults do that all the time. And like most adults start their morning off with like energy drink, Red Bull, something sugary, something just, you know, piece of pizza, hot dog. And then like for lunch, it's like McDonald's or stuff. So if you put everything you eat in 2 weeks in a haul, you'll have like 14 burgers from McDonald's and like stuff like that. So that's how I see it. And I just hate the way people look at things. They look at, and they're, all these people are stitching the video. They're like, did you see her haul? And I don't want to be rude, but it's all heavy set people. Like, you are the last fucking person to talk about this shit, okay? Shut up. Do I think you're fat because of food? No. I understand hormone imbalances and shit happen. But let's be honest, okay? You don't eat salads every day. You're not eating good fucking meals every fucking meal. Do I care if you do? No. Okay? First off, I think thick people are beautiful. I personally like thicker men, and I think thick women are beautiful. But when you start getting down to that, it's like, okay, they're just using that as a way to shit on people and get their anger out because that's now a target. That's now the target because, oh, she had such a terrible grocery haul. So everybody feels entitled to comment on it and berate her. And I hate that shit. Like, it hurts my feelings for them. Like, it's so fucking cruel because people don't use their minds. They're just like, they assume that it's being eaten in one day or something. Just like when I say, hey, if you want to donate for my rent, blah, blah, people are like, oh, but you have tattoos. As if I got tattooed the whole month. Like, I've had these since I was 18. But they're like, oh, yeah, you used that all in your tattoos this month. You must have. How the fuck does that make sense? Use your goddamn brain! Oh my god. For real. Like, shut your fucking mouth. And I don't care about being mean. I really don't. Because, you know what? You're being mean to someone who literally is just on here showing a grocery haul. Hey, no. Stop it. And most of these people, like I said, they're heavy set and they'll start off with, listen, I don't eat the healthiest. Then shut the fuck up. Then shut the fuck up. For real. Shut up. Stop there. Done. What about salads with protein? Hey, you can eat however you want. I think like a week ago, I had eaten McDonald's for like breakfast and dinner for 2 weeks. I literally do not care what people eat. I could care less if they're overweight. I could care less if they're obese. If they want that, that's what they want. If they want to come back from it, that's what they want. Their life is their journey. Like, you know, do your own thing. I don't care. Like, there's times I go through phases where I eat really healthy. I want to eat like homemade foods and stuff like that. And then there's times where like, you know, I want to eat McDonald's for a week. I guarantee you if I posted that, like people would be like, "Oh my god, that's why you're sick." You know, and they have said that, you know. Um just noticed mostly. Do you? You have the same shirt? My dad got me this. Yeah. This is one of my birthday shirts. We're a Star Wars family, which is so funny because when I learned about Star Trek, I thought I was going to be against Star Trek, but when I learned about it, I actually think I would really like Star Trek. I haven't given it a try though. But Oh, I appreciate that, Jake. Hey, I don't know. I hear that hypocrisy is like a thing for autistic people, and I hate seeing the hypocrisy because why does anyone care? Truthfully, the only reason why those people care to stitch the lady's grocery haul is because they're ashamed of how they eat and they're looking at a target to take it out on. And just like, don't look at me, but look at her. First off, go fuck yourself. Okay? With a Liberty, Statue of Liberty size wiener. Okay? Shredder's snoring. Got it for me as a Christmas gift. Hell yeah, twins almost. For a gift. But yeah. Um Also, what I can say is like a big difference in what's going on for me with the deep breathing is like I haven't been smoking as much weed. Today is the first day without like actual flower, which is a big thing. I've been smoking weed for the last 12 years and I don't mind smoking weed. I never really thought in my life that I would quit because I really like it, but I think it's doing something in my body that maybe isn't good. I don't know. We'll see. But I have this pen, so this is what we'll stick with. I want to smoke joints the way I have beers. Like I have a beer, like maybe 2 to 3 beers, like in a not in a sitting, but like I had a beer like maybe Wednesday, and then I have a couple in the fridge. I'll probably just drink one tonight, but I don't know if I'll drink that other one this month or not. But usually I drink it in like a clump, like within the week, just because that's what I crave. But I would personally like to do that just with joints and stuff, like or like friends are coming over. Okay, let me get some joints. I'm not against smoking. I'm not against drinking. I just don't think I need to do it all the time. I do it all the time right now because the pain was so bad, but now the pain is less, and I find myself not smoking as much. So I'm like, okay, let me see like how far I can go with this. So I'm like, well, I know like my ADHD gets really bad when I don't smoke, but usually I work out if my ADHD is bad or like I go for a car drive or something. So this coming week, like with my pen, I really haven't smoked today. Like I think it was like, I don't know, noon before I ended up smoking, which usually I smoke like right away in the morning. So, like, that's another thing where it's like, okay, it's a different kind of regulation that's actually dealing with the deep breathing instead of masking with the THC, which THC I think is super helpful. Like, I think I'm going to be able to smoke differently after I'm in remission. Like, it won't hurt me or anything because I'm not in this survival state. So, smoking isn't the means of suppression of survival. It's more of like, yay, we're having fun and this is good energy. Um, it's my lungs. I love flower, but I'll be smoking buds when I'll just be smoking buds when phenotyping. What is phenotyping? What does that mean? I used to drink and smoke. Drink due to a biological, do smoke to touring. I'll get addicted even as a man with PTSD. Hey, fair enough. We all have our things. I started smoking because first I started it like I only smoked at like parties. Got crossfaded. So I wasn't a big drinker then, but smoking was more fun for me. And I didn't really like feeling nauseous because I was on chemo, so alcohol makes me feel nauseous real easy, especially if I don't eat and stuff. So as a young kid, when I was a young boy, um, my ears ringing. When I was young, I think like 17 is when I first took my first hit. Oh God, save her. No turning back now. But I was taking chemo pretty actively then, and um, I really used it for that because I learned it helped my nausea, and I think I went through like a gram a week, which is really nothing if you know how much that is. But the sicker I got, the more I would smoke. So I don't know if I'm smoking because I'm sick or if I'm sick because I'm smoking. So I'm willing to try it. But I know some people that get really anxious with smoking. But for me, because I have like such high ADHD, like it's like sometimes like breathing in hurts my brain because there's so much like dopamine or something happening. Like it's where it's like too like it's too overactive. It's too like that's all I can do is scream like that. That's what it feels like. Going pens dabs only a few times and testing for effects and flavors. Oh, okay. I like that. Yeah. For me, I can see myself doing more edibles here coming soon because I won't need as much. And I don't care to smoke really. Like I took a Benadryl today. It helps my anxiety to take Benadryl. So sometimes like when it's bad, I'll take Benadryl like I did today. And I don't really feel like smoking. So that's where I'm like, okay, there's an inner anxiety happening that I got to learn to breathe through and get that sorted out and rewire my system and smooth things out for myself, you know. um that I have to like not be so reliant on weed for. Not that I was really reliant on that, but because I was bedridden and stuff, the ADHD was going out of crazy whack. Like I couldn't do anything to tame the ADHD, like get that physical energy out because I was so unhealthy physically. So now it's like, okay, I kind of want to let the ADHD take course and see what happens. I've never been medicated for it. I don't really think I need to because I kind of know how to control it. And at least I have the cannabis. So, like I said, like if I feel like I need it, I can have an edible. But my brother is more autistic, like on the spectrum, and has bad ADHD. And he's really against drinking because my father is an alcoholic. And he's really against cannabis use. So, I absolutely understand that. People have their preferences. And for me, I like drinking every once in a while. Like for a bit, it was like my routine to go to get ramen and then get a beer with ramen, and maybe I would get that like twice, like you know, on a Friday and then that Sunday or something. Um, Other than that, I don't really have a craving for much of that drinking and things. When I was younger, I used to drink a lot. I dated this guy who was a pedophile, and when I found out, I felt like I was trapped because I was like living in Wisconsin, not anywhere near my family or anything. I'd never been to Wisconsin. And like I was under this assumption because he told me he had to move to Wisconsin because like his uncle or cousin, whatever, was like upset with him. He didn't say why. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Um, and then when I found out the real reason, I was like, oh my God. So I drank a lot to try to like forget, but I couldn't because it would make me more angry and I would beat the shit out of him. I'm serious. I am a man beater. Um, I'm not ashamed of it to say, I can't say I'm proud of it, but I kind of am proud of it. Because I never, if you're a good man, I'm not going to hit you. See, that sounds abusive, God damn it. If you're a good woman, I wouldn't have to hit you. Right. Like, I would have never acted that way if I wouldn't have found out he dated a 14-year-old at 30 years old. And he kept like all his pictures of them together in like his email. And I was like snooping. I wasn't really looking for anything. I was just snooping, like, ooh, what's this folder, you know? And found all these pictures. And I was like, oh, huh. And then I reported it to police and they didn't do shit. But apparently in Wisconsin, like, the police heavily endorse that more. Like, it's like a known thing that like there's like tons of pedos there, which kind of makes sense, I guess, because like there's also a lot of murderers there. You guys ever notice like how like a lot of murderers are in Wisconsin? There is a lot of open fields, so I understand that, I guess. But police are very lackadaisical up there. They don't give a shit. Oh my God. Um, because each seed will have differences even when crossing and strengthening the genetics. That's kind of cool. I didn't know that. It'll be fun. I do want to try growing. I was thinking about that myself. Like, oh, I think it'd be fun to try to grow now that I'm not like consuming so much. So I think I'll have to hit you up for some info on that. I know my dispenser has like already pre-grown, like they have it budded and already started kind of thing. I feel kind of safe with that, but I'm not good with plants. I have like 3 plants that I can grow really well. And that I kill a lot of them accidentally. So, yeah. Yeah, I remember when I found out, I like kicked over his motorcycle and it was really volatile. Like I went ape shit, punched him in the face. I screamed at him. I don't even remember what I said. I broke a whole bunch of shit. I was pissed because here's the thing: I dated that guy when I was freshly 18, and I felt like I just realized like, oh, I had also been groomed because he was 10 years older than me, and literally no one said anything. And here's the thing: is my grandfather got like he essayed me, like he tried getting handsy with me, but because I'm autistic, I think it just didn't fly. Like I know there's a line. Like you're either more susceptible because you are autistic and you don't know what's going on, or you aren't because you don't know what's going on. And I didn't know what was going on when he was trying to be weird. Sorry, trigger warning by the way. Sorry. This is so natural for me to talk about. Sorry about that. Um that when he was being weird, I was like, "No, get the fuck out. Who are you?" And then I told my aunt, his daughter. My aunt told my grandma. So to me, all of a sudden, it's like, now it makes sense why my family didn't say shit, because my grandfather is a fucking pedophile. And so these are normal signs to them. An 18-year-old dating someone 10 years older. The only person who said anything was the nurse at the pediatric hospital that I was going to, because they treated me till I was about 26. And that's the only person who said anything. She's like, "You don't think it's weird that someone 10 years older than you is dating you? Like, they don't want to date someone their age?" I didn't know what that meant. I literally had no idea what the fuck that meant. Like, what do you mean? I don't know what that means. You know, I wish it would have been explained. But at that moment, when I found out that he had been dating this girl, I was like, oh, okay, this is all making sense, you know? And so because I didn't know what to do, I drank a lot and fell into like drinking a lot. Like a 750 milliliter thing of Sailor Jerry, I would go through in a day. I'm 4'11", 110 pounds maybe. I would do that alone. I don't even know how I didn't die. I was on chemo at the time too. I was taking some DMARD biologics for my rheumatoid arthritis at the same time, which completely shuts down your immune system. So like that's where I'm like, okay, it kind of makes sense to me that going holistic has taken like this long for me to get my system back in order, especially like the last 2 years, because I've kind of run a number on my body. But funny enough, when I took acid, was it broke that for me. I took acid and like literally the next time I just didn't want to drink anymore. I was like, I don't, and not like drink, like I drink beers like, you know, occasionally, but like that, like drinking like hard liquor. Like I don't even think I could take back a shot right now. Like I think I would full on vomit it back up because like I just can't handle it. And my body couldn't handle it. Like I would have an allergic reaction every time. My skin would break out and I would get really red. I literally went to the hospital because I thought I had breast cancer because my boobs had broken out. Like the skin was so red and inflamed and I'd never seen anything like that. And it wasn't like hives. When I say breakout, it wasn't like hives. It was like you could see just like every vein, and like the skin was puffy and red, and like my cheeks would get puffy and red, but that was like normal and like, oh, it's cute, haha, you know. But then when it was like my arms, my boobs, my chest, like I was like, oh god, am I dying? So I went to the ER and she's like, no, you don't have breast cancer, but you probably shouldn't be drinking this much. And I was like, oh, whatever. Nothing really happened to where like I had like a big sign of like, oh, I should stop drinking. It just was a part of that phase when him and I got in a fight and I took his phone and he ended up choking me. And so I called the cops. He wasn't allowed to back at the house. And that's when like I stopped drinking heavy like that. You know, I would occasionally go get it like a 6-pack and just, you know, day drink the weekend away from myself. Cause I like doing that. I like to drink a beer in the morning and just like sleep and relax. I like that. Especially with my ADHD, it's something that can turn it off a little bit without like the background thoughts happening. So that feels nice once in a while. I like to have those because it's part of my creative process, but sometimes I don't want all that background noise, you know, it's a bit too much for my system. So, you know, that's another thing, you know, the government. Those vices are so readily available for people to soothe their stresses, you know, and people don't even realize how it goes and stuff like that. And luckily when I took that acid, it took like maybe like 3 times for me to take it to where it was out of my system, and like I just had no craving for it. And like once a month, like I said, I have a craving for beer, but I don't think I can handle any hard liquor. So that's where it's really sad because everything is so manufactured. Like when I was putting this together, it almost sent me in like a little depression because it's like, what even is real? And I know that sounds maybe like, I don't know, psychosis or something, like some mental shit going on, but it's like when you see too much, it's like too much. It's way too much. Like there's times when I have to put my phone down because I start learning too much about trafficking, like human trafficking, child trafficking. I don't really know much about it, but when I start seeing the details and how it all connects, it's too much. I cannot be the person that sees everything because it's going to ruin me. You know what I mean? And I see a lot already, so it's like turning a blind eye to some things. I don't know if anyone can relate to that, but sometimes it's just like I can't put my energy into that, you know? But I'm curious to see where acid goes in the future. Given MK Ultra, it's a little scary because they kind of know how to control people with that too, you know. And but I'm actually really curious to see how it turns out in the future with that stuff because I really do think it could be beneficial. I'll keep my happy ass Maryland. Ooh, Maryland is so beautiful. It's one of those upper, what do you call it, peninsula, whatever, those upper states where like Connecticut and Delaware are. I want to visit there so bad. It's so pretty there. And Oregon and like Massachusetts. I love trees. And Arizona has trees. It's really nice, but not quite the same as like the other lush places. I think like what Vermont has like really beautiful trees too. And fall is coming. I'm so excited. Oh, so okay, so I'm not in Discord a lot, but like I said, I will be asking things because we'll be celebrating October really nostalgically this year because I need that. Otherwise, I'm gonna lose my mind. So I'll be doing some polls and stuff. Once again, like I'm not in Discord to talk to y'all. It's really for y'all to talk to each other. So if it's a dead Discord, I don't know what to tell you. I guess I can be in there to guide the conversations, but I think y'all, some of people are in there to talk to me. I don't really want to talk to people. Not anything mean. I just have too much going on. I don't have the energy to hold the conversation unless it's like on the designated times that I can. Until I had the same feeling of like I'm totally spent on what I can give energy to being worried about. Exactly. Like politically and stuff, same thing. I don't even pay attention to Trump and whatever the fuck he's doing because it stresses me the fuck out. He's passing bill by bill every single second and it seems like ruining things. But here's the thing is I trust that there are people who are more patriotic than me, like my father and stuff, who understand what this country is supposed to be, not what Trump wants it to be. And those are the people who are fighting out there. They're doing protests and everything still. So there are people fighting for our rights literally on our streets right now. There's protests going on in Phoenix right now. Like this evening, it's been going on all week. I know, right? It's scary. I'm going to talk about this more tomorrow, but I saw something about how Trump is offering Putin some resources in Alaska for him to ease up on Ukraine. And if that doesn't sound fucking stupid, hello, you're talking to another narcissist. Do you think he's going to keep his word with that? I like twin shit. She has a I'm hidden voice chat. We can kick it where random can't join. That's kind of how it is for me. Like I like the Discord because there's a lot of people who would join just because they think that's a way they can talk to me. But truthfully, it's for y'all. But I like it because the people who really fuck with my shit when we do like a verbal communication thing, we've done it a few times, but I really want to implement it every Saturday. So it's like 45 minutes to an hour. I want to be able to chat on Discord for the people who actually really want to chat because a lot of the people who like to listen to my stuff, they have similar ideas and have good things to say. So then we have like good conversations and like, you know, like Joe always has good information about cannabis or whatever the hell he wants to talk about, honestly. And it's just a good time to like really listen to hear what other people have to say. You know, I like yapping, but I also love listening and learning about new things and hearing about your guys' lives and stuff because I stay cooped up in these walls because my illness. I don't go out much because I feel like it makes me a target. My hair already makes me a target, you know. On top of that, the way I move, guys will see it as, you know, predatory guys will see it as like a way to take advantage of some way, you know. Apparently, I don't know. I'm going to research more about it. I just saw that briefly and I'm like, okay, I'm going to talk about that on Saturday too. So I'm going to research some things when I drink my beer. But yeah, I don't know what he's doing, but you know, this whole thing is crazy with Trump and stuff, and that's where Gavin, hello, how you doing? Welcome back. Good to see you. How's your Friday? Hope you guys are staying hydrated and eating, by the way. Do you guys think if I change my debt goal to a boob job, I'll get it fixed, like completed faster? Because I'm thinking of doing that, and it'll be a nice little experiment. Like, hey, I need to be debt free. Like, I've had like $120 in donations, which is great. But I really want to be debt free because it's crushing me right now. But I'm like, what if I just change it to a boob job and see how many people do it? And I know it's a bit dishonest, but to be fair, it's a little social experiment too. I'm drinking 48 ounces of water every day. Hell yeah. I drink about 3 of these. I don't know what that is. Congrats! Welcome your little bean to the world. How fun! C1 is 26. So she's not a month yet. A fresh bun out of the oven. Been doing good. Trying to get just nervous system and everything down. I know, and I have like no boobs. And people are like, "Yeah, I want to see them honkers on her." And I'd be like, "Psych. It was just a social experiment. I just wanted to be debt free." Watch someone donate like 15K. Wouldn't that be funny? I don't think I would ever get a boob job. I considered it like a few months ago because my boobies were really saggy. But it's because my arthritis was really bad. So like I couldn't work out my chest and back and stuff that support your bubical muscles, whatever. So now that I've been able to work out my chesticles, I don't really feel like I need a boob job anymore. And that's why I really don't like boob jobs, because you don't really need to do a lot to have nice boobies. Flat chested, big chested. You got to get those supporting muscles working, you know? Well, you guys don't know. But if you're a lady, you know. And now you know if you don't know. Haven't seen you in a while. Yes, so we're going to do seasons. So I'm going to do 6 months on, 6 months off. I just think, at least with my health the way it is, it's best. So 6 months on, you guys can guarantee like more content for me. 6 months off. And then 6 months on, I'll still be doing content, but we'll be streaming and stuff like that. So content, TikTok's going to be switching, so I don't know what I'll do. I'll probably migrate with the new app, to be honest, because I know other people will, and it's just a form of, business. But I'll keep to my Instagram, Facebook, and I'm going to start getting more on Reddit and Blue Sky. I have a Twitter. I don't really use it, to be honest. But we'll be kind of switching platforms a little bit here coming up. I'm going to be focusing on YouTube more, too. I got to post my Indian food video today or tomorrow. Probably it'll be posted because I don't know if I'll get it done today. But I have like a little different setup going now. Something that's not so like, oh, I have to do this every day or I'm going to be poor. Because let's be honest, I was streaming daily and still was barely able to make rent a lot of months unless I begged for it. So something has to be different, and it has to be internal. It can't be external. Like, yes, okay, anyone can get a job, but let's be honest, but the job market and everything. And I'm not trying to be in this lack and survival. We've gone through this so many rounds, as you guys have watched me stream. Not all of you guys have, but a lot of you guys have watched me stream. And, like, I talk out loud the thought process. I'm not perfect with this. I don't know what I'm doing, but I tell you guys, like, I'm just trusting that this will happen and blah, blah. And at this point, it's kind of a shift needs to happen for me to get out of this rut and be making those abundant months. Like if I can call in 2,500, I manifest that, then I can manifest rent more than that. And if I've learned anything, then letting the universe handle things, it always works out better. And I'm just, I have literally nothing more I can do. Literally. Like I have tried to do so much content and it's not getting me the results that I want, even with the good energy that I try to put into it and everything. And I think it's that whole mindset of like how overproductivity is going to get me what I want, but it's going to lead to burnout. So that's where it's like, okay, how do I do this sustainably, right? That's not going to be burnout and stuff like that. So that's where I'm trying to figure this out. And at this point, stressing more about it and pushing more hasn't helped me. So that's where, I talk about the dive in method, dive in the deep end, rip the Band-Aid off method. And at this point, that's what it is. Just rip the Band-Aid off and do it. Just dive in the deep end. The universe is going to catch me. I've done it multiple times, but it's just out of the pattern and it feels different, Also, I'm glad I got to stop and say hi. I don't want the baby to wake up. I'll make sure to keep you updated and pop in. Sounds good. Take care of you and the little baby. Happy growing to the little one. Glad you're able to work out now. Yeah, so I can do like Russian twists. Those are my favorite because they work like abs, but like in a full core way, and back and like stability in the shoulders and stuff. But I couldn't do that because it hurt my hip a lot. Just like twisting that way, it would like pull my hip and it would be too much. Um, so now I can do like little workouts and like I do arm workouts and I haven't lately because the shoulder has been giving me issues, but that's because of coffee. So it's been getting better. I'm sure by next week my shoulder will be back to normal and I can work out my arms and stuff. But yeah, I was doing like upper back workouts, upper chest workouts, stretching of the upper back, stretching of the upper chest because it was like really tight. I was talking before you got in here about how I noticed like when like I don't know, I had like a tightness that in my chest like the last week. And I've always had that. I just have become aware of it only recently. And it's not just my shoulders, it's like my collarbones and everything. It's just right here. And that's the, anxious and stuff of stress that's coming through right there. So that's where like stretching has really helped, like stretching my chest, stretching my neck muscles and stuff like that, and like just pulling down on my muscle and stretching my neck like that. You guys can try it too. You can probably feel it as well, where you just have to anchor the muscle. So like find just a muscle that feels a little tender or tense, and like hold it, push in and like hold it down, and then go opposite with it, and you'll feel a little stretch in your neck and everything. So because I've been bedridden, obviously these muscles have shortened. And before that, before my hip was my neck. So my neck was like really stuck like this. Like I couldn't really, like I was like this. I'm Batman. And that's what Shuko said. It cracked me the hell up. But like my neck was stuck like this. So those muscles got shortened and you have to stretch those out. And this is actually the most mobility I've had in my neck in like the longest time. Like the longest time, like 8th grade, I couldn't even do this because it was so tight. I had gotten into like a whiplash accident on a quad while I was out riding, and the arthritis just like completely took over with that. And so it was my neck and then my elbow and then, my hip, my knees, and my shoulder now. So things are slowly calming down with my shoulder and my hip, or yeah. So that's nice. And with no coffee and stuff these coming weeks, I'm really burnt out on coffee. I don't know why it doesn't taste good. I'm just assuming it's the cortisol I was talking about. I'm breathing through things more, so my cortisol is less, which makes me not crave those things. And even when I get them, like I said before, the taste is altered. So that's why, like, when you're stressed, you crave stuff. And those things that you eat stress out your gut even more because it's not good for your body to process it. Not as in good as in unhealthy. It's like it stresses your stomach out because it's difficult for your body to process a lot of that stuff. So, boobs are boobs. I care more about personality than they're attached to the point. My third ex had H cups. Oh my god, that poor lady's back. My back already hurts thinking about that. And that's why I stay and talk about looking back. Her boobs weren't without being hurt. Her boobs weren't what? Thanks. Talk later. Sounds good. Damn, that makes sense. Hi, Jess. Hello, Flossel. Welcome in. Oh, it's Lossel. Oh, welcome back. I was like, who's Flossel? I misread that. Sorry. Yeah. We'll see. I don't really like to lead disingenuinely. Like I said, it could be a social experiment, and I know it could get me more whatever, but maybe that's the energy. Maybe if weren't worth being hurt. Oh, I got you. Yeah. Boobs are boobs. I agree with you. Like, that's, I think both genders get caught into that trap of like the superficial stuff. Eventually we realize isn't worth being hurt and, do things in our own way. So I think a lot of people are waking up to that, and that's where I think we'll actually find our soulmates more than what our parents and grandparents did, because prioritizing self-care, right? That's important to get to know yourself so that you know what you like and what you don't like, right? Like it took that learning experience to realize like, oh, okay, boobs really aren't all that And so you live and you learn. You don't know till you know. And now you know. And now you can do better because you know better. But yeah, life, man. The government. Also, if you haven't watched the new King of the Hill and you like King of the Hill, it's so good. Do it. Some people don't like it, but I really like it. So yeah. But that's a talk for today, y'all. How stress and the government controls you through stress and what to do to rid your body of it. It's not going to be an overnight thing, but like I said, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath right now. And be aware of how far it goes. Does it go into your belly? Does it just go into your chest? Because for me, I thought I was taking a deep breath, and like I could take a deep breath through my chest. Like I can take a full like 10-second inhale through my chest, you know? But then I realized I wasn't breathing in my belly, you know? And as I started doing that, I, like I said in the beginning, I started feeling tingling in my hip, the left hip. And I don't think it's anything magical. I think it's just circulation improving, which is a good sign because I've been bedridden and haven't been moving that hip. That whole leg is atrophied, which is why like I don't really talk much about like my illness. I know I've been talking more about it on TikTok and stuff. But I'm not saying like the details because I know I'm gonna be in remission soon, and like I'm gonna take a picture of my legs to show people the difference of like the one leg that was atrophied versus the one leg that's not. But I'm only gonna show it once I get better so that people can see like my walking progress and like so I can tell the story after I'm healed. I don't want to while I'm healing because people are so fucking mean and evil that like I really swear to God their energy makes you more sick. So I will heal in silence, and then when I'm finally healed, I can show people how much my leg atrophied, how hard it was teaching myself how to walk. And even then, my last doctor who quit the practice, he would not prescribe me whatchamacallit. I told him I needed a wheelchair, and he's like, well, no, I said I need to go to physical therapy. He's like, you don't need to go to physical therapy. And I was like, okay, because my hip was really bad then. And I knew I was losing mobility, so, I wanted to keep that. So I was like, okay, I guess you know best. And I was like, well, I at least need a wheelchair. Can you prescribe me one? And he's like, you need to go to physical therapy for a wheelchair. Bitch! I swear to God. Okay? And let me find that guy in a Chili's on a Friday night after 2 margaritas deep, okay? Because he owes me money. He gave me a medicine and it sent me to the hospital. I had to be taken in an ambulance and given 3 EpiPen shots in office, and they took me into the fucking ER through an ambulance. And I couldn't get back. I had to get a little loan to Uber back because I didn't have money. And he's like, oh, I'll pay you back. You think he fucking did? No. And he's Jewish. That does not make the Jewish people look any better than their already stereotype, okay? It was $25 is what it is. Lurkers unite. Hell yeah, I love the lurkers. I kind of want to binge old King of the Hill, then watch the new stuff. That's what I did. I keep King of the Hill on pretty much all the time. Like I have a projector, so I have my phone and the projector playing all the time King of the Hill because I like the background noise. But I really like the new episodes, and Always Sunny's new episodes are hilarious. Are they? I stopped watching it after that one episode where Charlie was in the bathtub with this like porn lady. Like it got too hypersexual for me real quick. All the seasons before that I really loved, but that and then going forward it got too sexual. Same thing with South Park. There was like once they hit like the Tegrity Farms and you just started jacking off on everything and like it was like so vulgar and sexual. I don't really like that stuff. I know guys can tolerate it better, but as a woman it's like you're the butt of the joke essentially. So it just feels so awkward and like not good. And I know some girls don't mind watching it, but for me, I'm still Mormon at heart. Yeah, trolls can affect mental psych. I can understand wanting to move in silence and show the progress. Right? And that's how I do it. So, like, when I'm talking online, like, I talk openly with people on Twitch and stuff like this. Like, that's fine. Because I know people who hate me are not in here watching me because they don't care, which is great. They care in the littlest ways and like to get their anger out in, like, short spurts. It's really weird. Whereas like, probably like a hour-long meditation session or dance session or singing to music would help them more. But anything to like take their anger out on other people, which that makes me feel bad for the people in their life. But um yeah, most of the people don't understand, and that's really why I don't want to do donations. I fight with this whole like, oh well, I deserve donations. Yeah, I do. But I want to let people know they can always donate like casually, like through my streams and videos, not like, hey, I'm going to get evicted if you don't donate, you know, because I don't like putting people in that position of like my emergency. Because I always preach like other people's emergency is not your emergency. Like, I'm very grateful for the people that help me, you know, but I feel bad for putting them in that emergency type situation because of me, you know, and I know it's something that I can't really too much control. Like, I can be out there like begging for donations all the time, but it does take a lot of energy out of me to deal with the trolls and just like, you know, explain to people it's just because of my joints. Like, even when I'm healthy, I still will be doing this, but I won't need to be asked for donations because I'll be able to get that income in just by dancing and having fun and cooking and stuff like that. But when you're bedridden, sometimes the most you can do is talk, you know? So it's like a little fight that I have with myself. Like, I don't want to do donations. It doesn't align with me anymore. And I think it keeps getting harder and harder to get donations because I don't feel like it aligns with me anymore. And I feel like I'm worthy of having people sub to me or, you know, donate or tip without me asking and stuff like that. So that's what I'm calling in and attracting. It's just like I just cannot chase this shit anymore. My body is gonna crumble. My mindset is gonna crumble. Like, I am literally barely holding on. So it's like, how much longer can I keep doing this? I can't. So something's got to change, you know? With their current state, so they try to make others feel. I know, and that's where it's like, to me, like, that's where I see it exactly like that. Because it's like, no one in my real life is mean to me about this shit. Like, my neighbors take out my garbage for me because they see what I'm dealing with, and I never have to ask. Ever. Fucking ever. They take it back up to the from the curb to my garage for me. I never have to ask, just because they see how bad shit is for me, and they just help. And like when I, you know, go places, people are like, you know, trying to help me, trying to make sure I get to my car all right and stuff. Not because I'm begging or anything, because I'm struggling that much and I'm not asking for help. People just want to help me. And so I think of them doing this in real life, like where I'm barely, like I hop on one foot with a cane and I can barely hop on that foot because I got arthritis in my ankles. And so I imagine them seeing me in public. And the thing is I encounter these people in public. Those are the people that instead of like being mean to you, they make fun of you. You know, they point at you and laugh at you and stuff. And all I can say is I'm not those kind of people. And, you know, energy is just such a bitch sometimes to people like that. And that's why they're miserable, because it's like a self perpetuating cycle. They're miserable because bad shit happens to them, but bad shit happens to them because they're being miserable and projecting it onto others. And like, I have shit going on in my life. I'm literally bedridden. I'm so behind on rent. Like, I have $2 in my account right now. I spent the rest of my last 15 bucks on dinner for the next few days for myself. The dogs will be out of food on Monday. I'll be out of food on Monday. Like, I'm at a wall, essentially. Bedridden, you know, I could have all the excuses to treat people like shit, but I don't. And to me, I'm like, damn. So, like, your inner storms must be way worse than mine. Because there's no way I'm treating people like that. Ew, this song sucks. Ah, my bad. No. Okay. But yeah, so usually when I engage with trolls, it's to boost my account. But other than that, like, it's it's frustrating how stupid they are. Like, they don't see it as like, okay, you're like, imagine me on a in a wheelchair using my cane struggling and you're just laughing at me in real life. Like, that's what it looks like, you know? And they see nothing wrong with that. They're like, yeah, so. And to me, it couldn't be me. And like I said, with energy, the odds are, so here's how I see it. Not that I'm wishing it, but people who are like, oh, go get a job, they have jobs. They spend more time in traffic than I do and I'm more at risk for a car accident. And more than likely, that bad energy is going to come back to them. And so the reason why I say this is because every time someone has tried copying me, they get like bad luck. Like they get bad juju, right? So this guy that I dated, Voldemort, my son's sperm donor. I didn't really say I dated him. Like I saw him. It was like a weird situationship for like a few months. But he was like one of those dudes who's like really jealous of girls, and he was like really jealous of my motorcycle and just everything that I had. And so he got a motorcycle, and then I broke up with him, and he ended up getting in a bad crash. And that's like not the only like synchronicity that has happened. Like one girl, she started copying me, and like tattoos, hairstyle, piercings, personality. And I've been dealing with this hip thing for a while, and I went septic in May. And either she is trying to copy me still, or this actually happened, but she also went septic from her butt implant in the same hip that is affected for mine. And I was like, either she's still copying me, or that's like the return energy. Like when you try to have something that's not yours, it's going to come with things that are not for you, but that you're wanting. You want it, you know? Like I can also say like girls will try to copy me and dye their hair like mine, and then they'll end up bald, bleaching their hair so much because, you know, they're trying to be something they're not, essentially. Trying to control the energy flow around you is important, especially when trying to heal. Exactly. That's where it's like, for me, I really curate my space and really am like strict about who's in my space. I don't really see people when I'm sick. I don't have people come over and stuff like that. And especially with trolls, like I have to, like a lot of times I don't even look at comments at this point. Like TikTok sometimes, especially like if I first posted a video and I see like one of the closer people commented, I'll comment back and stuff like that. But other than that, I just don't care. And trolls are a sign that you're going to go viral. Like that's just what it is. You know, once the trolls are there, they're there to talk shit, and then there's going to be people coming to bat for you at the same time. And so it's that polarity that's needed to get the energy going. So I'm pretty aware of it at this point. And that polarity with that energy, it's a dance. It's yin and yang dance. That's what it is. You know, you can call it good or bad, but it's just two different energies. It's the opposites, but they dance together. And life is literally nothing but a dance with each other. And when you're trying to do like, you know, really awful things, that energy, I'm a good energy. So just know it's going to bounce off of me. Like it's not going to come towards me and ruin my life and shit like that. Like it's literally just going to bounce off and go right back to you. Like I don't know why or how that happens exactly, but when you're trying to do something that's out of alignment, the universe just tries to guide you back in with certain actions, and that's just what it is. It can look like so many things, you know. Well, moldy butt. If you ever seen that episode of Billy and Mandy, I don't think it sounds familiar. I don't think I have though. I don't think I have. I don't know. I have to watch it. It sounds familiar. Moldy butt sounds familiar. Because I feel like I can hear Billy saying it. I'll have to watch it though. But that's where like I try to preach authenticity, you know, and I realize a lot of people don't know how to be authentic because that's scary to them. A lot of people have masked for so long. And that's where like it was a new level of me unmasking, talking about my illness more openly, because I don't talk about it because the trolls don't like it. They think I'm trying to get attention, blah blah. No, I just am talking about what's going on, why I don't work. You know, I consider what I do work, but why I'm like in this intermediate phase is because of my joints. Why I'm not doing OnlyFans is because of my joints, you know? So if my joints were better, I would be doing OnlyFans and just doing really great with everything. Something bad happened. Oh, okay. I'm going to have to watch this. This sounds funny. That's hilarious. But, no pun intended. You know, honestly, with all of this stuff that I've been doing, it's all about like that introspective work. And that's really what's really reshaped my ideas on things and how I see things. Because like for a while, like I didn't even realize I was masking with my illness. And it's because like I wanted to make people more comfortable, because talking about my illness made people uncomfortable. And so I wouldn't show my scooter or anything like that, really. I would just, I would try to perform as if I was healthy, like the healthy version of me. And that would make me even more sick. I would get burnt out after doing like my Rangoon videos. Like one Rangoon would take 2 days to shoot, and that would just burn me out. And then people want more, so I'm like trying to do more, but my body is so sick I can't even stand in the kitchen. And then for those shots, I stand so that it doesn't make people feel awkward that I'm on my scooter or something. Because when you are, they think you're trying to do this for like attention. But no, like I just can't walk. I can't stand for very long. There are periods where I couldn't even stand. And so I don't know. It's really energy. Everything's about energy. That's the cool thing. There might be a niche for scooters. Right? The scooter is so much easier for me because I don't think I could push myself in a wheelchair at this point. And that's what a lot of those trolls don't understand, is that I need like one of those like really expensive wheelchairs, like the self doing moving ones. And then even then I have to have an attachment for my car. Those are so expensive. And I don't want to lean into that. I want to lean in the idea of being healthy and getting in remission. So that's also why I don't have a wheelchair, because I'm holding out. Like I'm trying to just do everything I can to get healthy. And that's where I've really learned it is about energy. That energy within is really helping me take care of myself. And like I said, that breathing deeply was like the biggest change that I noticed. And that's where, if I could say anything for y'all, take some good few deep breaths at the beginning of your day when you first wake up, and just tell your body you're safe. Like that old story of the abuse, the PTSD, the stress, it is no longer like, the body that I'm bracing for, like when I was 6 years old dealing with my father drinking and driving and stuff, that no longer exists. I am literally safe from that, and that's where it kind of helps you breathe a little deeper, gets that weight off your chest and stuff like that. And I think that a lot of people could really benefit from turning inward. And I'm really determined to prove that it can do everything, including healing finances, healing body, and stuff like that. And that's where, back to the government, that's where they don't want you to do that. They want you stressed out, thinking about rent, thinking about job all the time. You don't have time to breathe. You don't have time to think. It's all about the next step that's about to happen, because you're in danger. You're going to literally die. You're going to be homeless. You're going to have no food, all those fear thoughts. That's what they have literally programmed into us with the whole work system. And so other people have done this. If they can do it, I can do it. Like, I feel like I'm more than worthy to have millions of dollars, because I know exactly that I would be the right person to have that money to help people, So it's like, well, why wouldn't I deserve this? So I'm just trying with energy to really, connect everything and let that flow through. And if I can figure out the fine tunes with it, then I can relay it to y'all in a quick, effective way that's not a whole bunch of woo-woo manifestation jargon, because I hate, like some of the verbiage is just so repetitive and it's annoying. So white woman spiritual talk kind of shit. But I think there's something to it. And this whole time I've been streaming, like I've been slowly proving that in ways to myself, and I hope to y'all, to trust in yourself and doing things, But the more I put down the stress, the better things are. Breathing, I manifested a certain number and I have it. I just have it. Breathe deeply as if you have it, because a lot of times, like, I would try to manifest something and I could manifest rent, right? But I would be still stuck in survival. And you can manifest out of survival. A lot of people say you can't, but you can. But when you're out of survival, I am pretty positive that you will get more than what you asked for. Because there was a few times that I was not in survival manifesting, like for my car, and I got more than what I asked for. Some guy donated like $5,000, just dropped $5,000 and never came back, literally. And it was amazing. So, like, if I can manifest that, then anybody can manifest that. And if I can manifest 5,000, then, and my car, my Mini Cooper, then I can manifest anything, So it's like all these little steps that I have to tell myself that this works, and that's why I don't mind making the mistakes. I refuse to get evicted, so that's not in my future at all. And it's not something I entertain. Like if you guys watched, Joe knows, and Z, I don't think you were there, but before in my previous streams, I think I have some of them posted. They're really boring though. They're like long ass streams of me just asking people to donate and stuff like that, and talking to random people, but I would have like a process I would go through of like deep breathing and telling myself like I already have what I asked for, and everything that I'm gaining right now, every donation is adding. It's just a sign that what I asked for is coming in. And so I would just sit there and take deep breaths and just imagine how it would feel at the end, like relief. Oh, rent is paid, debt free, weight off my shoulders, and breathe deeply with that, because in my situation, that's how I would breathe if I was in that situation. And that's where I realized, okay, like, yeah, you can you can manifest out of survival for sure, but I wonder what happens when I manifest out of safety and security. And that's where I'm really trying to take advantage of these next 2 weeks and breathe and be in my A game with the picture in my head and manifesting and energy, because I'm pretty positive the high cortisol is like one of the keys to manifestation and lack, because your cortisol is like a superficial way of telling your brain you're in danger, because it's that adrenaline. It's, holy shit, there's a bear running after me kind of thing. When it's just like, oh, I have to go to work. Or like a good example is when I stopped working for work, and it took me like 3 months to get out of that phase of like being scared I missed my alarm. I'd wake up in a fucking sweat, scared shitless that I missed my alarm, that I'd be fired, And it took me months to deprogram myself from that, like about 3 months, and it felt like forever. But finally, like I really feel like I have like trauma to alarms. I cannot listen to alarms. It has to be like music or something, because the workplace has traumatized me. um, but they just want you in that go 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 stress mode, because it drives the rest of it essentially creates a pathway, like when you are digging pathways in the ocean, like when you're at the beach or something, and like the water goes into the little canal that you dig, and you watch it now make a whole new stream. That's exactly what cortisol is. It's just creating like a pathway for all the other negative emotions to flow through. And like, when you're thinking more positive, that you have what you want, because there's no way you would want what you want if it wasn't meant for you. So you can just think that you have it, like it's meant for you, and you have it. The universe will give it to you, and breathing into that feeling, because there's a lot of times that I was breathing and I was like, I realized the last time that I was breathing as if I was still being chased by a bear, even though rent was done. And that's where I started the deep breathing thing and noticing a difference and stuff, and how it affected my stress and brought it down, which made me crave less coffee, less junk food. And it made the taste change. Like I said, taste change of those foods. So the heightened cortisol definitely impacts how your taste buds receive junk food and stuff like that. I might not have been. Sage talked about you and dropped your Twitch. I followed you and saw maybe like a few minutes of when. Yeah, I think she came in last season and did like a, what is it called? Like a train or some sort. She ran a train on me. No, just kidding. What is it called though? Oh, wait, is it a hype train or sub train or something like that? Yeah, I remember that. That was so nice of her. She's great. I don't really know Twitch. Like, I should honestly do that like once a month, like go into other people's streams and bring in my people and stuff like that. I'm still new to Twitch. Like, I don't know what the fuck is. I just come on here and yap. But yeah, I like Sage. Sage is great. I know I mentioned that last time, but she's so sweet. She seems like a great person. I don't know her personally, but she's been on my Facebook friend list for a while, and I really enjoy her presence. She's got a good energy. But yeah, if I could leave you guys with anything today, like I said, take some deep breaths, okay? Like belly breaths. Breathe into your crotch area, okay? And if you feel that tightness in your chest, practice breathing out of your chest a few breaths. You know, it's all about becoming aware of your body in these areas and then breathing into it to decompress that area, you know? And by next Friday, hopefully, all y'all will be less stressed. And anytime that stress starts to kick in, that racing heart, the racing thoughts, that's what I do. I take those deep breaths. And because before I was like, breathing deeply never helped me. And that's because I wasn't breathing deeply. Breathing deeply does help you if you actually breathe deeply, you know? It was around the time she got back into streaming and was talking of, oh, yeah, she's great. It makes me so sad what happened to her last place with the fire. I can't believe that happened to her. I literally cried. That made me so sad. But I just hope she's doing better. I'm trying to get to the top so I can help my homies like her out. I would love to do like content with her, like a photo shoot for OnlyFans or something. Nothing raunchy or anything, but something fun, like you know your typical stereotypical sleepover, like cute lingerie and like feather pillows or some shit like that. I don't know, but she seems like a great person to make content with and whatnot, fun TikToks and stuff. So I hope one day I'll be able to make content with her and everything. A few other people on my list too. But we're getting there. Also, don't forget, donate if you like my shit. I have to pay double rent, so like I owe 5K at the end of this month to my rent. Um Is this illegal though? I pay electricity every month, and then like once every 3 months they charge me like for 3 months of electric, but I'm paying electric every month. So something's telling me that the rental company with that is like charging me electric and pocketing it somehow, and then charging me extra for the the electric company when the electric bill comes out, which I don't know why it comes out every 3 months. It's such bullshit. I hate that. But yeah, it was a sad time. She's making through it like a champ, though. I admire her uh, tenacity and whatnot with that. What's the word? There's an R word. Resilience with that. That's a lot for anyone to handle, honestly. I couldn't imagine at all. It's like one of my biggest fears. One of my biggest fears was my dogs getting out and running away, but that actually happened when I first moved here. And luckily, they're so trained well that they didn't run away. I guess like I didn't close my door well enough, and my front door was open all night, and Shredder came into my bedroom, and I was like, what's wrong? Like, he was acting really weird. Like, he was trying to tell me something, and I don't know, like, what's wrong? And so I somehow went out to the living room with him and like followed him out in the living room, and the door was open and Beef was gone, and I was like, oh fuck. And so I shouted his name a few times because maybe he was outside or maybe he was somewhere in the house, you know. And like I was like, Beef, Beef, and then I turned back around to look outside, and there he was right at the front door. I don't know where he had gone, but he came back. He has great recall. I trained him really well with that. But because that's my biggest fear, because I don't want them to get out and feel safe wandering, because it's not safe for them to wander, especially here. There's a lot of coyotes where I live, because I live like right by the mountains. So, and lots of strays. There's res dogs and everything. So for me, that was like really scary, but it actually made me really proud of them, because like I thought they would all just like book it. You know how dogs can be, but I didn't really realize how well I trained them until that day, and it made me so proud of them. Like they're such magnificent little babies. Yeah, she came back from that really well. She joked about having played Ark so much it got her mentally prepared to lose everything and start fresh. Oh no, is that something about like Noah's Ark? Is that like a biblical game or something? Oh no. It does remind me of Job though, sadly. That is one of my favorite stories in the Bible is Job, where, you know, he loses everything and God gives it back to him. And that's what they say, not just give it back to you, but it's more of like it happens tenfold. What you lose will be replaced like 10 times because you're a deserving person. Ark Survival Evolved. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I play Lego games. Like, I'm so old. I only play Red Dead and Lego games because I don't really like playing games too much anymore. It doesn't hit the right mind centers that it used to when I was younger. Aw, Mark sent me a $15 donation. That's so nice. Because I literally posted on Facebook. I was like, I spent my last 15 bucks. I don't know what the universe has planned, but please, this manifestation needs to be here. Worked out he's no longer in Be More, so it had silver lining. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Anyway, shout out to Mark for the 15 bucks. I now have $17 in my account. Worked out. She's no longer in Be More. Oh, Baltimore. Okay, Baltimore. My bad. I didn't know where she lived. I didn't know. So did she move states or something? I don't really ask people questions like this because I don't know what's considered prying and like too nosy and like especially when she just went through shit like that. Like I don't need to be up in her business. I honestly don't know where she lives at all. Is Baltimore not good? I don't really know. Better area of Maryland. Okay, gotcha. She's in Baltimore. Yeah, I don't know too. I'm not too familiar with that place, but if it's a no, it's a no. Oh, it's high crime. Oh, great. That's not good. I just moved from a high crime area, so I can understand that. My motorcycle got stolen. That really sucked. But I got it replaced with my dream motorcycle sitting in my garage. Literally, like almost 3 years ago, before I moved into here, I had a little shitty Lancer that the catalytic converter cost like 1,400 to replace. I got the car for 1,300, so I was like, not even worth it. And I had a tow truck scrap it for about 600 bucks. Someone stole my motorcycle. My apartment was really shitty. And then, like, literally less than a year later, I'm in this beautiful house that's literally right in the mountains. It's like there's one street and then there's mountains, like a street behind me. And I got one of my dream cars, Mini Cooper. I've always wanted a Mini Cooper, so that replaced my Lancer. And then my motorcycle that got stolen got replaced with my Yamaha R3, which I've always wanted an R6, but I'm too short to ride one. So I opted for the R3, which I fucking love. I haven't even modded her out, and I love her so much. So it was really cool that pretty much everything upgraded when I moved here. I got really sick, but truth be told, I was going downhill anyway, and I think this was inevitable. And this needed to happen for me to figure out, like, how to not get sick again after this. One block in Baltimore, you get shot, but luckily for you, it's right next to the hospital. Oh, great. Yeah, I suppose that's great. Ugh. You too, Joe. I'll be on tomorrow morning, so hopefully I catch ya. If I sleep in, it'll be Sunday morning, but I'll make a TikTok post if I end up missing tomorrow. Pretty fuck Mini Coopers are cool. I looked at getting one and bought a 1966 Mustang. Ooh, beautiful. Yeah, anything up to like 72 is really pretty. I think 75 is when they started getting kind of ugly Mustangs. But yeah, I like Mini Coopers. I remember watching PBS and seeing this special about Mini Coopers, and they were like evading police. Like I remember like watching it was like an old film of like this Mini Cooper jumping this hill and like evading police because it was like talking about the history of Mini Coopers. I've always loved cars, so that was like pretty normal for me to watch as a kid. And I was watching this little thing and they started talking about how it like then they moved into like rally racing and shit, and I was like, man, I love Mini Coopers. Those are fucking cool. Always wanted one, and now that I have one, so funny. Everybody's like, "Oh, Mini Coopers are so shitty," and it's so annoying. It's always the same. Like, "Oh yeah, well my uncle's brother's sister's girlfriend's friend had a Mini Cooper, and it broke down. It's a piece of shit." Yeah, well, did she? I don't know. Change the oil every 3,000 miles? Did she take care of it? Like most times, no, they don't. So I've had no issues. I think the throttle body went out, but other than that, I bought her used, so that's like not a big deal to me. But I've never had any issue other than that. Oil change regularly. She runs so good, and she's double turboed, I think, and she at least has one turbo. She's so fast though. I never knew Mini Coopers were so spunky like she is. So Mini Coopers are really great. I actually drove a Mustang. For a while, when my car had been junked, I rented cars, and I rented a Mustang for a bit. I do not like the handling. You know when you see like videos of like Mustangs always losing their rear traction? I understand now. Because hey buddy. Because when you drive a Mustang, at least the newer ones, um, the rear end is so light. Like I remember getting on the freeway and giving her a little gas, the Mustang I rented, and her back end started wanting to slide out, like fishtail out. And I was like, that's so weird. That is such a weird discrepancy or whatever you want to call it to have in a car. And it's so like known of Mustangs to have like shitty like handling like that. And I'm confused why they let it be so light and so whatever. If that's the point of it as a sport car, I don't know. Because they're so muscly, I don't really like I don't know. I don't really see them as being like, oh, let's go drifting around and stuff like that, you know. Um but the Mustang that I drove was like it made me understood instantly why people are always like when they peel out and then their back end swings out too much and like it made sense to me. Like it happens way too easy. Like I wasn't even giving the Mustang that much gas, and she wanted to fishtail, and I was like, oh, getting a little squirrely there. Like right, like my Subaru people would make the hard. Literally, that's yeah. I've never had an issue with any car as long as you maintain it. The only one I had an issue with was my Lancer, and that's because someone tried stealing my catalytic converter and didn't steal it all the way. Like they couldn't get it off, so they just kind of like shifted it so that it wasn't getting like the proper airflow, and it ended up like burning a hole in the catalytic converter because it wasn't all the way off. So like the airflow was shooting down and like created a hole in it from the heat. So other than that, though, if no one fucked with it, she was a steady little car. But yeah, I think people don't realize what maintenance takes for cars. And really, as long as you have like the coolant and the oil topped up and, tires aired properly, you should be really good. There's things that need to be replaced, but they don't go out all the time. So it also makes me wonder how they're driving. You know, some people drive really fucking crazy. I don't need to. I don't have anywhere to go. So, yeah. Anywho, I'm gonna be on tomorrow morning, guys. So don't forget that. I'm planning on. I slept a lot like yesterday and today. I really needed it. So I can tell because I don't usually sleep a lot, but there's sometimes when like it's like 14-hour nights, and I was really stressed about my car bill this week, and so now that that stress is over, I can kind of sleep. So I shouldn't be too late tomorrow. Like it'll be 8:30 or 9:30 that I'll be on, and we'll have some fun current events, and we'll talk on Discord if you want to call in or video chat in, and I'll do like put it on my screen or something. We'll just chit chat. But my beer is calling my name. I think we've talked enough about the government conspiracy, okay? Like I said, give yourself some good few breaths tonight, before you go to bed. Think of something that you want to happen in the future. In the future, like in a week. Maybe you want a promotion. Maybe like, and don't let any negative thoughts come in. Just breathe with it and just say, I have my promotion, okay? But breathe deep into your hips, into your butt, okay? Breathe really deep. And for me, it took a few times to get to that one deep breath. It's going to take some practice for a lot of us who are chronically stressed, balled up in our body, PTSD, any kind of thing, So take some deep breaths tonight. If I don't see you tomorrow, please have a good and safe weekend. Take care of yourselves, hydrate, and eat. Okay, I've got a beer and cheese and crackers waiting for me. So I'm going to watch King of the Hill and chill with my dogs. That sounds good. I'll have to swing by your DC. Have a good rest of your evening. You too. You too, yes. Have fun with your pelvic breaths. But yeah, you guys have a good night. Talk good to yourself. I love you from all the way over here. I hope you guys love yourselves. If not, show yourself a little love tonight. Do something that makes you happy. Give her a good wank tonight, okay? You deserve it. Anyway, love y'all. Stay sexy. I will see you tomorrow morning. Good night.